Good morning. Janae here from Family Holistic Practices, Postpartum Doula Services. And I am a little bit late with your video this week. I know I promised once a week video, and I am apologizing once again that I'm late. But I have a good reason. I had oral surgery last week, and I did not realize how intense that was going to be. You can still see my face is a little puffy still. And it really threw me for a number. So any of you mamas out there that have to get work while you are in your early postpartum phase, I feel for you, because that was very, very painful and talking hurt. So, but I'm here, and I just wanted to come on and talk to you this morning about a question that I think that you've probably asked, and that others have probably asked you if you are a more seasoned mother like myself, and that is, does it get easier as they get older? And the very short answer to that is yes and no. So let's talk about why yes. So yes, it gets easier because, especially in the newborn phase, when they're infants, that first 3 to 4 months, and then they have a little regression, and then again into the first year, they really do not sleep very well. You do not sleep very well. And what I mean by not very well is every baby has their own pattern. So your child may, for a very long time, still get up every 2 hours to nurse or to bottle feed, even, way after the first 2 months. That just may be their body. And that can be very tiring for you because you're not getting very much sleep. Some babies will get into a rhythm and sleep through the night, longer feed times, and some babies, by the time they're 12 weeks, they're sleeping through the night. That being said, as your children get older, they go through different phases and stages, and their sleep patterns change as well. So you're dealing with that as they get older. So there are times where you're getting more sleep as they get older, which then helps you have better reactions and responses to daily behavior, circumstances, situations that come up, surprises. However, with each stage, you are always still a new mom. The same way you were never a mom of one, and then you were never a mom of 2 or 3 or however many children you've decided to have. You've never been a mom of a 1-year-old. You've never been a mom of a 2-year-old, of a 3-year-old. So even if, like me, I was a teacher way before I became a mother, it's different when it's your child. So there's a lot more emotional investment in your child's behavior, in their reactions to you, and it's a lot easier to take things that they do, temper tantrums, refusing to eat food, whatnot, personally, as like, I'm doing something wrong. Why can't I make this work? Why can't I make my child happy? So those types of things are always hard, no matter what age your child is. I have one young adult and one smack dab in the middle of their teens. And while I'm so grateful for my children, they are very well behaved. They've got good heads on their shoulder. Teenagers and young adults have their issues, and they have their opinions, and they're headstrong, and because that's just the age that they're at, and so it can be very hard to deal with that. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit slurry. My mouth is starting to hurt a little bit, so this video might be a little bit shorter. So in that way, it continues to be hard because each stage brings new challenges and opportunities of growth and development for both your child and for you, and how we all respond to those things is very, very different. And depending on where we are in our life, you could be having a career and you're dealing with people at work. All of that plays into your emotions and how you respond to things. The thing that does get easier is that eventually you do get to sleep through the night. And so that really does help a lot. And the other thing that gets easier is as they get older, they're able to communicate more. And if you keep those lines of communication open, even from an early age, like you're always encouraging your child to talk to you, always listening to what they have to say and not just jumping on them or telling them they're wrong or something like that, then even when they're going through hard times, they will eventually come to you and talk to you about it. And that does make things easier. They can tell you how they feel. They can tell you what's hurting them when they're sick. There's nothing worse than, having a 2-year-old or younger child, or even a 3-year-old who can't really describe or explain what they're feeling when they're not feeling good. Like, is it their tummy? Is it their head? Is it their throat? They just don't know sometimes. But as they get older, they can tell you those things. And same thing with emotionally, they can start describing those feelings to you. So in that way, that is another way that things do get easier, is having that ability to communicate with your child as they get older, and to really try and figure out what's going on with them, what it is that they really need from you, and how you can support them in the best way. And yeah, so that is my long version of that answer. If you're thinking about the early stages, which of course if you are a new mom, or if you're pregnant with whichever child you're thinking about, like right now, next couple of years, it does get easier once they're able to do some things on their own, like eat. And it's very cute and endearing when they start walking and they're pointing at things and they're learning new words. And so in that way as well, it does get easier. I feel like I'm saying in that way a lot, but it's true. It's just really a mixed bag. And that's what happens when you become a parent. You realize that there are no hard yeses or hard nos when it comes to questions like this, because it really is just degrees of difficulty and opportunity. And if you can think about it as growth, children have growing pains. We all have growing pains. It's a thing. If we think of it as growth, then we can think about those tough times as the natural and very necessary component of growth. Sometimes is pain. And how does that translate? Sometimes it's temper tantrums. Sometimes it's miscommunication and not understanding each other. Sometimes it's being mad and slamming the door, or not wanting to go to a family function, or not wanting to eat this thing, as your child tries to learn what their boundaries are, trying to learn how far their agency goes within the family unit, and what's appropriate and what's not appropriate for your family. So it's a constant, I don't want to say struggle, but sometimes it can feel like a struggle. So I will acknowledge that. I'm not going to say that it's not, because I don't want to sugarcoat things and make it seem like I'm living in some pie in the sky and I'm walking around with daisies coming out my ears with my kids all the time, because it's not. But it is very much opportunities for growth and development, emotionally, physically, spiritually, whateverly. And if you think about it that way, it becomes much easier to go through all of those stages. So, you're a new mom. Know that your baby will eventually sleep through the night. It is okay to call for help, get some help, until they do, and even after. And those things will get better. So once you're sleeping more, things will get better. If you're ever in a situation where you feel like you just can't deal, you're agitated all the time, please call your medical professional, your primary care doctor, therapist, someone that you can talk to that can help you, because motherhood is hard, but it's not impossible, and it should never feel hopeless. Because if you're waking up and you're feeding your children and they're safe, and then you put them to bed at night, you're doing a good job. No one says that you have to be super parent. You get their basic needs in, and you tell them you love them and give them hugs, you're doing a good job. So if for some reason that is feeling not good enough for you, and if for some reason it's feeling like you can't do the basics, the bare minimum, then please reach out to a medical professional. They can help you. And that's what I have to say. I will see you guys next week, and I hope you have a lovely, lovely weekend. And hopefully when I am back next week, my mouth and my throat no longer hurt. And bye.